Hey guys, this is Little Karibo here. Just thought I'd do a audio commentary because I haven't done one of these in a long time. In fact, speaking of not doing things in a long time, what you're watching right now is the first abridged movie that I've done in a long time. It's the first abridged movie project that I've done since the other abridged movie from the Season 0 episode. Well, not really episode, the OVA thing, whatever. But I was pretty proud with how this came out. I worked on it, like I said, for a week. Although that is kind of an exaggeration because I actually wrote a bunch of different scripts for this since, late last year, like August. But I mean, I didn't really focus on it until a week ago. I had it lying around, and I went through about 4 different rough drafts until I finally decided on this, which, ironically, I wrote this while I was editing it because I decided that I wasn't gonna get around to finishing it unless I actually sat down and had like a finished rough edit of the movie while I was working on it. I thought that if I wrote the script, I would look at it and say, well, I'll do this later. I'll finish it whenever I get round to it. I should probably comment on this Six Flags part because people have a lot of questions about that. The Six Flags thing is completely random. I just chose an activity for Vegeta and Mazco to be doing that wasn't working on the abridged series. It wasn't meant to be any kind of insult. It was just supposed to be like, they're not working on the movie. They're at Six Flags. That's what they're doing. And now there's some sort of urban legend going that Mazco and Vegeta went to Six Flags. And speaking of the Six Flags, that shot that I used was actually from the rough cut that I mentioned when I was editing it as I went along. And I just left that shot in, and I thought, well, I'm okay with it just looking like that. It's just a sight gag, it's nothing special. And obviously it's actually a picture from Universal Studios, I think, which Islands of Adventure, which is just, it's pretty shameful that I left that in, and in retrospect I should have done the also this opening title sequence with the Master Ninja theme song was originally going to be a lot longer. I was going to do the whole Master Ninja theme song. For those of you who think that I made the Master Ninja theme song, I didn't make the Master Ninja theme song. That was Mystery Science Theater 3000. It was from, I believe, a Season 3 episode. It's Season 3 or Season 4, I think it's Season 4 actually, called Master Ninja, appropriately enough. And here's something that's very important to note regarding the princess in this movie. The princess in all the other drafts had a lot of dialogue, and she was originally a much more important character. And then I realized that the way to abridge the movie, ideally, was to trim her role down, because she is the part of the movie that is just the most draining and the most, it drags the story along because she's this unappealing. Does anybody actually like that character? Because until the last 5 minutes, she's the most unappealing, obnoxious, apathetic person. And I believe that I pretty much I did her character justice in the sense that she just doesn't give a crap about any of the stuff that's happening in the movie or any of the stuff that Naruto's doing. And I also managed to cut out a lot of the fat from the movie. She's essentially like, when I cut the card games out of the Yu-Gi-Oh series, trimming the princess out of this movie essentially allowed me to abridge it a lot more efficiently. And I'm really proud of how neat the whole thing came out, because it's like a 90-minute movie, and I got it done in 15 minutes. I mean, I know the video itself is 20 minutes long, but if you take the opening titles away, where it's like, oh, this movie hasn't come out yet, blah, 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 for 3 minutes, and then at the end you have the closing titles that go on for like 3 minutes while the song plays. If you take those out, that's like 6 minutes of video where I'm not really abridging the movie, I'm just doing sketches. And then in the middle, there's like a 14-minute abridged movie from a 90-minute movie, which I'm pretty proud of. And this bit here where Naruto's talking about his movie pitch, which was very popular, it was originally a lot longer, and yes, I mispronounced nuclear, and I decided to just, rather than re-record, I just put the subtitle saying, ninjas can't pronounce nuclear. So now at some point I have to have a line every so often where they talk about nuclear stuff, like nuclear weapons or nuclear holocaust, I don't know, and just have them mispronounce it, because ninjas can't pronounce nuclear. But yeah, the pitch for the movie originally went on a lot longer, twice as long in fact, but then I was editing it and I realized, wait, if I actually do this, it's going to be a ridiculously long sequence, and we've already had one sequence where 2 people are talking for ages, and the joke is that they get attacked right afterwards. So I just kept this, oh, by the way, Naruto's smoking a joint there, not a cigarette. I kept it down to as short as it could be, and I made it so that originally he was going to go on about how in the movie he was going to be the hero, and he was going to, in the pitch, basically describe how this movie ends, and it was going to be a payoff to that whole joke. He was going to say, well, at the end of the movie I sing Everything I Do It For You by Bryan Adams, and then when we fight at the end, and this was how the movie was originally going to end, Naruto was going to say, and at the end I fight the villain by set to the theme of Europe's The Final Countdown, and that was going to be the music that played during Naruto versus Evil Betty at the end, was going to be the final countdown, and that didn't end up happening, so I cut that whole section of the movie pitch out. It still exists in script form, but there was a bit we missed there with Bill from accounting, and a lot of people say, wait, isn't it Chad from accounting? And I have to sort of explain to them, well, it is Chad from accounting. That's how the joke originally went. But for some reason, when Vegeta and Masako asked for auditions for the princess character in their movie, one of the lines that they wrote as a temporary line was, "I swear a vendetta on all of you, even Bill from accounting." And I really don't understand why they randomly used that joke, because it doesn't fit with the context of what she's saying. And I don't really understand why change the name randomly, because the name part isn't the funny bit. But there you go. In the Naruto universe, it's Bill from accounting because of what they said. I should probably explain a lot of the differences between the different drafts of the movie that I wrote. Originally, the whole thing was going to be about abridgers, and the way abridgers, the way the whole thing has evolved to the point where, you know, there's only a certain number of groups who've sort of gotten to the hierarchy, the top of the glass ceiling, so to speak, and it was going to be about trying to make an abridged movie. So basically it was very meta, and it was very sort of poking fun of it at itself. And the people who were making the movie were going to be Team 4-Star. The director was going to be essentially a parody of Kaiser Neko. The actors were going to be Lani and Taka and Masako. And it was all going to be very, very meta. And Naruto was going to play the part, in my opinion, of Vegeta 3986, in that he kind of feels like he's not really part of the film crew anymore because he's been snubbed. I don't know. I mean, that's not really what he feels like as far as I know. It was my attempt at parodying things, and I was going to be, and this is going to be where it becomes obvious that the whole thing was going to be an exaggerated parody. I was going to be the villain, and I was going to be holding all the other abridgers down. I was going to be the M. Night Shyamalan character, and I was going to be just an exaggerated version of myself being like, oh, I'm here in the land of snow to go to a convention. Nobody else can do the convention. I'm the host of the convention. Blah blah blah. But yeah, originally it was going to be all about that, and the princess character was going to be a famous ninja voice actress, because in the parody universe, the ultimate goal of every abridger, or as they would call it in the original script, ninja, was to get a famous voice actress to be in their abridged project. And she was going to be called Vic Mangina, or Victoria Mangina, and Naruto was going to call her Vic Mangina.